Hello everybody, you're watching Axel with the Star Wars Guy, and might I say, Happy Independence Day. Today I'll be reviewing Episode 10 of The Bad Batch. What a better way of celebrating the USA independence by starting this episode by a planet being taken over by the Galactic Empire. A rally is being held at this castle-looking building. An Imperial officer is giving this speech about how this occupation is supposed to bring the galaxy together, and a curfew is set in place for their safety. Usual political spiel. The civilians don't like this, and it appears the senator doesn't fancy it either. This planet is named Raxus. I didn't recognize it at first, but with a little bit of explaining, I knew I had been here. I was thinking of a planet from The Force Unleashed named Raxus Prime. I wasn't exactly wrong, because that's where I remembered the name. No, this is simply put, the capital of the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the home of the Separatists. This place had been featured in the Clone Wars TV show a couple times. So now it's time for the Senator, Avi Singh, is it Avi Singh or Avi Singh? I don't remember. Who to my recollection is not in the previously stated Clone Wars show to speak. He tells his droid to follow some instructions he had given her to the letter. He starts his speech out by being an Imperial puppet, but then he reflects. He knows what he's doing is wrong. He speaks out against the Empire, and the clone troopers arrest him. The droid runs away from the scene. Never underestimate a droid. So back on Ord Mantell, our favorite deformed clone heroes apparently just got back from rescuing Omega. They walk back into Sid's parlor and Sid immediately gives them another job, to save the senator on Raxus. Hunter turns this one down big time, as Avi Singh is part of the movement they were fighting against. Sid reminds them of the debt they owe her, and Hunter brings her aside. Hunter's real motive is that Omega had just gotten back, and he thinks she should keep a low profile for now, and to give the kid a break, but Sid offers to babysit. I sorta like that Sid is just given these guys names of her own. Hunter is apparently Bandana, and Tech is Goggles. I wonder what she named Wrecker and Echo. But anyway, they're off without Omega, and Omega doesn't like this much. They arrive at the city that apparently the Separatist Senate was held, and meet their client, the Senator's droid, GS-8. I'm gonna be cheeky and call her Gates. I love Echo's reaction to this entire thing. On their way here, he's baffled at the fact that they're helping this guy. When they're about to land, he's so sure that this is a trap, and what it turns out not to be, he's still not convinced that it's not. And here, he's showing much the same contempt. Shows his loyalty to the Republic. Shows that, in a lot of ways, he's still much like a regular clone trooper. I also love how the only other person who cares is Hunter. He doesn't show the same animosity, but you can tell he doesn't much like this idea either. And the way that Tech just blows this entire thing off is just kind of funny. They sneak around the castle place as per usual. They stop at a corner where two clone troopers are standing. Hunter uses the droid as a distraction, and knocks them out. Then Tech hacks into their security system. At this point the group separates. I'm not sure what Wrecker and Echo are doing for sure, probably sent to be on the lookout or something. I'm sure during my initial review I missed something, but it seemed like they just kind of disappeared. Back on Ord Mantell, we see Sid's hand at babysitting. She's having Omega clean, which isn't too outrageous. Omega just looks so sad about not going on this mission. Sid attempts to be comforting, but ends up irritating Omega. Sid explains why she didn't go on this mission, and throwing that Sid did offer to watch her. Omega responds with, "Yeah, but for how much?" Sid remarks, "Not enough." Hunter and Tech make their way through the place. Yet another corner, yet another distraction with Gates. And then they make their way to free the Senator. There's this bit about a vase that Avi Singh won for his service, and that was pretty funny, I guess. The droid was so fixated about saving this thing for no reason. I think that's what really sold the joke. The three meet up with Echo and Wrecker, and then attempt to steal a tank. Their position has been given away by this point, so this doesn't go unnoticed. The Imperial officer from earlier immediately sends another tank after them. The tank takes a shot and takes out one of the Bad Batch's tank's legs, so Hunter and Wrecker get out and defend it. I think they try to take another one, but a missile comes out of seemingly nowhere and destroys that, and a third tank comes into play. Of course, all the while, troops are approaching on foot as well. By the time that the third walker is closing in and about to demolish them, the walker is working again. They make a run for it until they reach a dead end. The Senator had led them here, because there's an underground tunnel, So he informs one of them to blow up the wall. Wrecker, who has not met his criteria for blowing things up, is eager to oblige. So once again, back on Ord Mantell, Sid and a patron of a bar playing the Star Wars space chess that's been here since A New Hope. Omega comments on the game. Sid is all like, "Oh sure, an expert," and proceeds to lose the match to the others. Omega says, "I told you so." Sid is none too pleased about this snide comment. "You think you can do any better? Then show me how it's done." And Omega wins the game. She comments that she's just that good at strategy games. Sid, of course, thinks to use this opportunity for money. Omega wants a cut though. Smart kid. Sid offers her 30%, but Omega haggles 60%. Cool down there, girl. Gonna push your luck. But it seems like Sid agrees to this though, as it cuts back to the Bad Batch before we get a confirmation. So they escape and make it back to the Marauder. Before boarding, Abby takes one more look back at his planet. He feels guilty for leaving. He doesn't want to leave his people. Gates reminds him that he is leaving to fight for his people, and surprisingly echoes the one who solaced the senator, stating, "Leave to fight another day," and he reluctantly does. Apparently they get back to Ord Mantell easily, where there are crowds around Sid's place. In the center is Omega playing the same game. Though the crowds are soon broken up here, Hunter is not too happy about this. Because first, she's supposed to be laying low, and second, she's being hunted by 2 bounty hunters. Apparently Omega earned enough money to pay off their debt to Sid though. Omega saying she wanted to be helpful even though she wasn't on the mission. Hunter gives her a deal. If she can beat him at Star Wars chess, she won't be left behind anymore. But before we get to see who the winner is, or even the rules of the game for that matter, the episode ends. So there wasn't really much I wanted to say about this episode that was much longer than a footnote of comments while relaying information in this episode. Except one thing I noticed about the clone troopers. Has anybody noticed that these guys are all white? Like, usually the clone troopers are white with their garrison colors on them. For example, the 501st has blue clone troopers. Commander Cody's has an orangish yellow. The only ones who are usually only white are the new recruits, the ones who aren't a part of a garrison yet. So my question is, are these new recruits, or is this the Empire getting rid of the colored clones, in favor of a singular look for them all? Much like stormtroopers who will succeed them shortly. Has the Empire even gotten rid of clone troopers yet? Comment your thoughts down below. I don't think they've gotten rid of clone troopers yet, but I think that they're trying to get rid of the colored clone troopers. It seems like we also have an answer as to what Omega's, for lack of a better term, superpower is. She seems to be a very good tactician. Obviously this is a very nice skill to have. At first I didn't think this was much different than tech, but the more I thought about it, tech comes up with strategies based off of pure data from previous missions, usually only giving options with a success rate percentage, whereas Omega seems to just know what to do next. I wonder how this will be used later, and I wonder if this will be too OP. I really hope it isn't, because I still want the show to be interesting. I also want to know who wins the chess match. Hunter, being the leader of this entire group, has to be a decent tactician himself. Don't take my lack of commentary on this episode as being an unremarkable episode. It's quite the contrary. This episode is what I want more of in this show, but I feel like I've said that a lot before. This was a very good episode. Maybe it doesn't have a ton of plot development, but it's still fun story nonetheless. For once I actually sat down with my daughter and watched the show with her, and when I asked if she'd watch more, she answered yes. My lack of opinion mostly stems from me not wanting to repeat myself in these reviews too many times. I'll let you know if I like this episode or not, but I feel like it would get boring if I said, "This is what I'm looking for," all the time. Anyway, if you like this review, please give a like, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. I'll see you later in the next video.